So when we talk about relation database services, when we locally deploy the database, lot of databases are there. MySQL database is there, SQL, Oracle, SQL Server is there, PostgreSQL is there. Lot of database are there. But what happens if we need any data? We have to install that data, and those databases, they are able to handle certain number of queries when we are deploying it locally. But sometimes when we are designing dynamic applications, our application might be viral mean lot of people might be accessing that application, and we want that according to the traffic, our database also gets scaled. So for that purposes, instead of that standalone databases, we use Amazon Relational Database Services. And what is the benefit? Highly reliable, available, durable, and the most important, secure also. And other thing, it is very cost efficient and easy to use. And lot of tasks are get automatically, like hardware provisioning, setup, patches applying, backup. That means lot of things are automatically done for you. So mostly six database engines are available. Amazon Aurora is there, MariaDB, MySQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle, and SQL Server are there. So quickly we will move into the demo part. That means how to use this. Then most of the terms we are going to explain there. So in our case, let me go to my AWS console, and here again we are going to search for the service RDS service. So what it is saying, managed relation database service. So in this service, what we are going to do, we are going to deploy one data that will be MySQL database. We will be choosing one particular database, although lot of versions are available. 5 version is available of MySQL, 8 is available. But the small application that I have designed, that is compatible with the MySQL 5. So in my case, when I will be deploying this database, I will be using that 5 version of the application. So a lot of choices are there. So when you configure the database according to your need, according to the version you need, you can use that. Once we have created the database in RDS, then what we are going to do in second step, we will create one EC2 instance also. And then from EC2 instance, we will try to connect with our RDS database. So it will give us a lot of knowledge about how to deal with single service and how to combine those services. So in my case, let us start with the create database. And if you want to check whether already some database is deployed or not, so if you are going to click here, you will find that no database is there. So I will go to create database. Now there are two ways of creating the database. One is simple way, easy way. That means it is going to ask very few options. So if you do not have any knowledge about databases, then this is the recommended practice. But in our case, we want certain choices. It should ask certain choices to from us. So in our case, we are going to use that standard create. In standard create, when we are using this, a lot of options are there. And please remember, AWS continuously go on adding new and new databases. So in the slides I have specified 6, but here what it is showing now, currently it is showing 8 databases. Now, first of all, I will discuss about that MySQL is available, and most of the when we are using PHP, it is best compatible with the MySQL. That is part of LAMP stack, Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. So in our case, we will be using MySQL. But sometimes what has happened, MySQL has been purchased by Oracle. So sometimes the people nowadays they do not prefer MySQL. So alternative is also there, MariaDB. MariaDB is again open source and free. It is basically clone of a MySQL, and all the commands which works in MySQL, 100% those commands are going to work in MariaDB. So you can choose MySQL also. You can choose MariaDB equivalent. No issue regarding. But since most of the people they are more comfortable with using MySQL, so in our case we will be using MySQL. But there are other databases also available now. PostgreSQL, it is enterprise quality database is there, that is also available. And then Oracle is there. If you people have ever installed Oracle, we know that installation of Oracle, it takes time. We have to configure certain things when we have to use that Oracle database. And sometimes when we uninstall Oracle database, it is almost impossible to install without corrupting your operating system. But here, if we are using a relational database service, whenever we are going to choose any database, within 5 to 6 minutes, our database will be ready with the option that we have specified. Then Microsoft SQL Server is also there. IBM DB2 is also there. And please remember, Amazon people, what they have done, they have created their own database also. The name of that database is Aurora, and it is both MySQL compatible also, PostgreSQL compatible also. That means two versions of it are available. The advantage of using this is it is 3 to 5 times faster than these MySQL and PostgreSQL databases, but little bit costly then, because this is free, this is free, this is their you can say proprietary software, so it is little bit costly. So in our case, in standard grade, what we are going to use, we are going to use MySQL. So we have selected the MySQL. Then edition, which edition we want to use, community edition, because that another edition is paid edition, but here they have included the community edition. So we will be choosing community edition, mean free a edition we are going to use. Then now this is the advantage of using these we can say RDS services. So many versions are different available. If you are going to install in local system, when we run the command, like in first day, you might have installed the database also, you have to run that command, yum install MySQL. So it will install whatever is in repository. It might be installing the latest version, or if it is Ubuntu system, apt-get install MySQL. But here the choices are there. That means lot of choices are available. That means you can choose that. You can say that so many databases are available, so you can choose according to your need. So in my case, I will be choosing that this one 5 version, MySQL 5, because whatever code little bit I have created, that is compatible with this MySQL. Then which type of template you want? Production mean it will launch your DB instance in more than 2 availability zone, but it is going to cost you some money. What we want it to be covered in our free tier, so we are going to choose this free tier. Otherwise, if you are going to choose the production, uh, uh, if you are creating the some application which you want to use in real life, then you will be using the production type of option. But here we are experimenting, and we do not want that certain charges should be there. So in our case, for experimental purpose, we are going to use this free tier. So be careful, otherwise charges will be there. Now, settings. So in my case, I will be sharing this file with you people, where we have specified which thing we want to use. So in our case, uh, I want to create one master username that is going to be Nanu. That means whenever we install some database, we have to create the user also. We have to give that user some password also. Then with the create database command, we have to create the database also. So in our case, let me first discuss. When I'm going to create the user, I will name my user as a Nanu user. In your case, you can name your user anything. And then in my case, I'm going to give this password. So please remember, when you are going to give the password, it should be complex password, which should create, which you should be having caps letters, small letters, special characters, and your numbers also. Although this is not recommended password because it is very easy to guess, but still I'm going to use this password. And my database name, I am going to keep it as staff. In your case, you can keep anything. And because generally when we assess the database, we generally use the term local host if we have to deploy the database locally, local host. But here we have to give, like when we were launching our instance in EC2 instance, we were giving some name to our instances: Win server, Linux server, or web server, that type of thing. So in my case, when I will be using RDS, I have to give that instance, because when we are choosing that RDS service, behind the scene it is going to install that some instance. On that instance, that MySQL or PostgreSQL that or Oracle will be available. So we have to name that some name. So in my case, I will be using the identifier as our DB. So let us go there. So what it is saying, DB instance and identifier. So we have already decided that it is going to be our DB. In your case, you can name it as my DB or anything you want. And then credential settings. You can keep this at the admin also. But we have already decided that we are going to name it as a nano. It could be any user. Then we can specify auto generate password. If you are not comfortable at generating this password, that caps letter should be there, that you can tell this to generate the password, that auto generate. But it is going to create one lengthy password. So in our case, we are not going to use this. So I will uncheck this. So what we are going to say, whatever password I want to give, we have already decided this is going to be our password. So please, in your case, when you are creating the database, you can create some other password, because otherwise, if I have told this password, your instance can be accessed by some person. So we are going to paste it. Confirm. Then instance configuration. Now, which type of instance? DBT3 micro. But in our case, we want to keep it the smallest instance, DBT2 micro. So we are going to choose that. Again, sometimes it is not recommended practice to launch your databases and that type of thing uh, on one instance which is having one CPU and 1 GB RAM. So but still we want to be it in free tier, so we are going to choose. Then storage. Which type of storage? How much storage is it allocated? 20 GB. 20 GB is more than sufficient. But suppose you are expecting that there might be, you might have to enter millions of record, and later on this 20 GB might be very less. So there is one option, storage auto scaling. So what we have said, enable storage auto scaling. So mean 1 terabyte. That means if when we are going to insert a record, automatically it will go on increasing your storage. In a local server, this is not possible. But in my case, I am not enabling this. We want to keep it at 20 GB. Now, here it is showing you one option. Do you want to connect to computer EC2 instance? We will keep it. We do not want to connect to EC2 instance, but later on we will see how to enable this or how to connect with this instance. That means if you sometimes if you are not able to combine that EC2 instance with this database, then this is the safe option. But in our case, because we already know how the EC2 work, we know about the security group also. So first we are saying that do not connect to EC2 computing resource. We want to make ourselves a certain effort how to connect our EC2 instance with RDS database, because that is going to give you a little bit more knowledge about how to connect this RDS service with EC2 instance. So we are not going to choose. Then whether it is IPv4 based or IPv6 based. So in our case, we are choosing IPv4. if you want that access should be IPv4 also, IPv6 also, then which mode you can select? You can select dual stack mode. But here we are going to keep it as IPv4. Then in default VPC, it is okay. Then again database group, again default. Now, this is very important option. When I am giving you the demo, what I am going to do, I will make the access public. But it is not recommended practice. But the assignment that I am going to give you, on that assignment, you are going to choose that public access no. So in my case, because I want the database to be accessible from EC2 instance, so in my case, that is why I'm giving it public. But when we were discussing the VPC, we said that when we created that VPC with one public subnet and with one private subnet, we said that front end will be launched in your public subnet, and back end, mean databases, they should be launched in private subnets. So if you are going to use private subnets for your database, then you have to select no. But here for demo purpose, what I have chosen it as a public access. Now this is very important, security firewall. Now by default, this group is there. So before moving into this, what I am going to do, I will remove this, and I'm going to select one group which already has been created. The name of that group is Linux SG. Now let us first check what is in this Linux security group. So I will come back to my EC2 instances. That means up to this point we have covered, but there is one option is there regarding security group. There what I have chosen one Linux security group. So we want to see what is in this Linux security group. So let us move to our EC2 service, because whenever you have to find your security groups, you have to go to the EC2 service. So I'm going to choose this EC2 service, and please be careful which region we have chosen. Mumbai. Here also you have to which region? Mumbai. Now here security groups are there. Lot of security groups are there. So here we selected this Linux security group. So now we want to check what is in this Linux security group. In this Linux security groups, if you are going to carefully look, inbound rules mean which traffic is allowed. If you are going to carefully see, HTTP is allowed, SSH is allowed, that NFS is allowed. That means if you are using that EFS service, then you have to open this port also. But since our database here in our case RDS, we are using MySQL databases, and MySQL uses 3306 port. So here we have to create one rule, MySQL. So we have added that rule. So when I will be creating the EC2 instance, there I will tell you how to add that rule. So that means we have purposefully chosen that Linux security group, because that allows you MySQL traffic. And please remember that Aurora, that database also that uses same port 3306. That means if you want to launch website in EC2 instance, HTTP port. If it is Windows instance, you have to enable RDP protocol. If it is Linux SSH, then according to the service that you want to use. If you want to use NFS, you have to open NFS port. And if you want to use MySQL service, you have to open that MySQL port. So again, we will come back to that security groups. I'm just going to click. That means now if I have chosen this Linux security group, that means somebody or some EC2 instance, what they can do, they can access this our RDS database. We are not going to choose this RDS proxy. Sometimes if multiple databases are running, you can launch in the front one RDS proxy. Participants, please mute your mic. I request the participants to please mute their mic. Then Which type of authentication you want? Password authentication. Whether you want to enable monitoring, no. Then you have to come into additional configuration. Now, initial database name. So we have already decided that our database name is going to be staff. So we have chosen that. We have already decided that this is going to be user, that is going to be our password, and this is going to be the database name. And please remember, this is the name of our instance on which our MySQL will be running. So both are different. This is instance identifier, it is database name. So according to we have specified staff. So here we are going to choose staff. Now enable automatic backups. That means whatever data you are going to save, it will automatically take the backup. But here we are not interested in that. So we will disable, and you can the different logs. I mean, who assess your database for security purpose. We can enable these log, audit log, error log, general log, slow query log. Then enable auto minor version update, like we have chosen 5.7. If sometimes patches are there, that means if some security issues are there, so from time to time these MySQL people or PostgreSQL, they release the minor updates. So in this case, you do not need to apply those update automatically. Your database service, it is going to apply those patches. Now there is one another option that we need to choose, where we are going to launch that instance. Subnet group, availability group is there, connectivity, it is okay, VPC is there, default subnet is okay, choose existing. Yes, because in my case I have to launch the database, so I have to specify in which zone. Here I'm going to choose AP South 1A, because when I am going to create that EC2 instance, that should also be running in 1A. Or if you have forgotten to choose this, you can say availability zone. Once you have created that database, you can view where it has got launched, whether in 1A or 1B. Then according to you can launch your EC2 instance there also. So you can connect. Now, then what we are going to do? We are going to say, and it is showing you the cost also. How much cost will be there? That means monthly, this is going to be the cost. But because in our case, we have chosen everything in free tier. So in your case, for 1 year, no cost will be involved. Now what we are going to say, create database. But again, let me specify the changes. That means what we have made, standard create. Then we are going to choose the MySQL. That was the setting we have chosen. Then which version, engine version. When tomorrow we are going to discuss a platform as a service, there I might be choosing version 8.0. That means according to your application with which database version it is compatible, according to that you have to choose the MySQL version. Now here free tier, then this was the database instance, this is the user, and this is the password that we have chosen. Then we chosen this instance DB micro, then storage was 20 GB, this was default. Auto scaling, we disabled auto scaling. Then in connectivity, we said that we do not want to connect to the EC2 instance. IPv4 is the networking we are choosing. And then we said that we want the public access. But please, recommended practice is that you should be choosing in private subnet. So when I will be giving you the assignment, I will explain which thing you have to launch with. Then security group, we have chosen Linux security group because that security groups allow MySQL access. Then availability zone, we have chosen this. Then in additional information, we have chosen the database as a staff. Now what we are going to do, we are going to say create database. So it will start creating the database. You can say that this is database as a service cloud. But when we talk about AWS cloud, they do not distinguish. According to AWS, only three types of clouds are there: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Other cloud providers, sometimes they say that four type of cloud services there, but AWS people, they always consider only three type of cloud is available: mm, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and data and that software as a service. Now what it is saying, creating database, and your database might take few minutes to launch. And please remember, after 4 or 5 minutes, when we are going to click here, the most important thing you will get here, endpoint. That means you have to note down endpoint. Endpoint mean what is the address of that. Like when we were assessing that EC2 instance, we were getting some IP address. But here, what we are going to get, we are going to get one DNS endpoint. So we will note down that endpoint, and we will see uh, how to use that endpoint and how much time it is going to take. It is going to take 4 to 5 minutes. So in meanwhile, what we are going to do, we will launch one EC2 instance also. In my case, my database is also running in public subnet. My EC2 instance will also be running in public subnet, uh, but that is not recommended practice. Your database should be running in private subnet and your EC2 instance in public subnet. That is the recommended practice. But in our case, I just wanted to make the demo as easy as possible. So we have gone through that parameter. Now it is going to take time. So what we are going to do, we will go there, launch instance. So I will go to the instances. That means that is why first day we learn how to assess that uh, create that database, that EC2 instance, because in most of the experiment, automatically that EC2 instance will be created, or we have to create those instances in almost each and every session. So here again, I'm going towards launch instance, because there it is going to take 4 to 5 minutes. We want to utilize that time. So here I will name myself as a web server. I will be choosing this Amazon Linux. And again, I told you that most of my codes, they are compatible with this uh, Amazon Linux too. So we are going to choose key pair. In my case, it is Mumbai key. So here, what I'm going to choose, again, I'm going to choose that security group Linux. But here I can show you how to create the that you can create your own security group. But before that, let us edit this, because here what we have to say, we want to say that where we want to launch 1A. So in network setting, because our RDC instance is running in 1A, so our EC2 instance, it should be running in itself in 1A, otherwise connectivity issue will be there. So that is, so that means, now what you can do, you can use the existing, but if in your case you do not have already one security group which in which MySQL SS is enabled, so what you can do, you can go to this security group, and what you are going to do, add security group rule. And in our case, in your case, which security group rule you are going to add? And please remember, do not confuse, this is Microsoft SQL. So we have to choose MySQL. So let me check this one. And source address is, and if you want to choose that NFS for NFS, so whenever you are going to launch, but in my case, because when you are using a free account, there is a limitation that you cannot create more than 10 security group. After 10 security group, there will be charges. So in my case, which security group I am using? Nice. So now everything is okay. Now I'm going to move into advanced details. And here again, certain code will not work until and unless we are going to choose this V1, V2 token option. And here I'm going to paste some data. That data is going to be this one. So let me copy paste and then I will explain. So again, because I have to launch EC2 instance, in EC2 instance, MySQL, Apache web server, or that PHP MySQL, it is not available. So what I'm saying, that means when you are launching the instance, please install Nano editor. Normally we use VI editor, but sometimes this VI editors, some people are not comfortable. So I am installing one Nano editor, which is very easy to use. Then I am saying install Apache web server, PHP, MySQL, and for PHP MySQL connectivity, please use PHP MySQL. Then we are starting the web server. Then we are permanently enabling. So what is going to happen? It is going to create the install and it is going to, because there our MySQL server is running. We have to access that server from EC2 instance. And in EC2 instance, our client should be running. MySQL client should be running. So that we have. And if you have forgotten about to include in user data, then what you can do? You can access that instance and run these command manually. So now everything is okay. So what I'm going to say? I'm going to say launch instance. So we will go to the instances and we are going to see. So now what it is showing? It is showing pending. Meanwhile, we will go there. And the most important thing in database connectivity is there. What it is saying? Successfully created database. So let us again go there. RDS. In RDS, just go to the databases. Your database will be there. And the most important thing is, and please do not disclose this to anybody, because every time whenever you are going to create in Mumbai region, this is going to be unique for you. Like in my case, whenever I am going to create MySQL databases, this is going to always, I'm going to get this type of thing. In your case also. So when you are giving the slides, that type of thing, do not put this information in those slides. Otherwise, what will happen if you are applying real life application, that type of thing? Then what will happen? Anybody can access your this database or can perform certain attack on your database. So this is one unique thing which is given to you. So I will note down this and I will put it here. That means this is my string. That means now my database is also ready. Let me go to the my instance also. So let us check it is running. It is very rare that it will take more than 2 minutes, but I was doing certain experiment yesterday. It took more than 15 minutes, which is very, very rare. So in our case, it is okay. Now what I need to do? I need to connect with this instance. So I'm going to use EC2 connect. By default, which user is there? EC2 user is there. So I'm going to say connect. So again, sometimes if it is giving you error that it is not able to connect, then please give it 2 to 3 minutes. Now what is happening? We have logged in as a that EC2 user. Then how to assess? I just want to check whether I'm able that MySQL got installed or not. So if I'm going to type MySQL, then press tab, then what it is showing? MySQL is there. That means whatever commands we specified there, those commands are working. Now what I need to do? I need to connect to that EC2 that RDS instance. So for that, we have got one command available. So let me explain that command. So what command I am going to run? I'm specifying that MySQL, please connect to this host. This is the host. And in host, what we have specified? That string. That means we have specified this string, this connection endpoint. And by default, it is working on 3306 port. So we have specified that. That is with host. Then I'm specifying minus minus user. Which user I'm going to use? In our case, we use the user Nanu.
Now,
Participant,
just
please
to,
mute the mic.
there was a lot of
Participant,
this deep
participant.
fake problem, right? I'm not going to show you how to create deep fake.
Vijayanagji, please mute your mic. Thank you. That means I'm saying MySQL, please connect to this host. Now, when we are going to connect to this host, it is going to ask for the user. So minus minus user, I'm specifying the user as a Nanu. Then minus P, small p, then I'm specifying the password. But sometimes this is not recommended because Linux keeps a history of 1000 command. If I'm going to run this command, what will happen? That password will be visible. So sometimes if you do not want the in command line password to display, then what you can use? Same command, but you can specify minus minus password. Then it will ask you for the password, then you can specify. So in my case, I will copy. I will go to which instance. I will be sharing this with you people, but I will delete this connection string. So in your case, you have to just specify your connection string, whatever username you have given and whatever password you have given, you have to substitute that. So here I will go to that EC2 instance and I am going to paste. Now we are able to connect. And if in your case connection timeout or if it is saying connection refused, that type of thing, please check the security group whether you have given the security group correctly or not. And even if you have specified that security group, whether that MySQL port is open or not, that you have to check. That means now we were able to connect to with that database. Let me put some data there. So make life easy for you people. What I have done, I have I will be sharing these command with also. So whenever you have to use the database, which command you have to run? Use database. So I'm going to cut paste here. Use database. Then we are going to create one table, salary, in which I am going. Even you, if you do not know about how to use SQL, that type of thing, just copy paste their thing. The main thing is you need to understand how the thing in cloud work. So I'm going to create one table. In my case, 3 fields are going to be there: employee number, then it is going to act as a primary key, then name, then department, then salary. So I'm going to create copy. So let me copy paste. It created. And what is the command generally for viewing the table? And please remember, whatever things we are doing from EC2, it is saving the data in that RDBS database, RDA. So what is showing? It is showing the table. Now in my case, what we are going to do, I'm going to insert the data, and in my case I'm a little bit restless, so what I will do, I will copy and paste all the records. So I'm just going to paste. That mean all that mean we have added 6 records. This is employee number, name, department, and whatever is the salary. Then if you want to check, what we can do, copy, although this is very raw method. Generally what you can do, you create data.sql file, and you can just import that file. Now what we are going to do, we are going to say quit, and in my case, because still we have got 5 minutes still are there, so in my case what I'm going to do, no lot of time is there, so let us create one small php code also. So I will go into var www html directory. I think first day when you deployed one sample page, we use that directory. That means whenever you are using Apache web server, this is the default directory that you use, where www.html. And if you are using Windows system, and on that if you are using IS server, then there is one directory called in C drive inet pub, and in that www root directory is there. But because here we are using Apache web server, so what is the default directory? This is the default directory. But please remember one thing, this is EC2 user is normal user, so it will not be able to create the files. So we have to log in as a root user. So I'm going to run one command called sudo.i. Mean if you are going to carefully look, it is just going to show you one thing, that it is it has logged in as a now root user. Again I will go into where www. Now what we are trying to do, we have created the database, RDS database. Then we try to connect with the client and we put some data. Now we want to display that data in our web page. So for that we have to do the PHP MySQL connectivity. So in my case, let me go to the code. This is one code in which what I am going to do, because this is our string. Copy. I'm just giving this example so that you should know that the things work properly. Like when you deploy locally, when you make this PHP MySQL connective, you have to do certain thing. In cloud, again, we are doing certain thing. In database, we have created. Then we put some data. Now we are trying to connect. So in my case, let me first copy paste that little bit, paste. Now this is my code. Now what is code? I have written one PHP code connection, mean please connect to this host with this username, this password, and this is the database. Then we are performing one query, select star from salary, limit is this, result is this. So in my case, what I am going to do, I will copy this code, copy. Now I will go to that. Again, what we could have done, we have this code in GitHub, and from there we could have in that user data, we could have specified the link to that, so that it can dynamically going to download that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use nano editor. The file's name should be index.php. So here I'm going to cut paste that code. So control X, you can use a vi editor also. That means whatever editor you are comfortable, you can use. So I have cut paste that code. code. Then let me check whether it is proper. That means I created the file with nano. And please, if in your case it is not allowing you to save, check whether you are trying to create the file as a EC2 user or a root user. If you are going to create the file as a root user, only then you will be able to create, not as a EC2 user. So in our case, the file is working. We have created. Now what we are going to do? I will go there. I will copy this and I will open one private window. Hopefully, if we have done everything right, then it is going to display the page. This is just one sample application that we have created. You can create as much difficult as much, but sometimes when you're using the this cloud, first try to understand the concept that how in local servers the thing works, how the things work in your cloud. Once you are comfortable that this how to make the connectivity from PHP to this MySQL, which thing you have to come, then you can create complex code, that type of things. But I have created code in such a way that so that the codes are small, you are able to understand. So that means our application is working perfectly. It is showing the data. So let me again explain all the things what we have done. Then what we are going to do, we are going to one by one remove the things. So in our case, what we did initially, we created our database, RDS database. And in my case, I created MySQL, and I've chosen particular version. In your case, if you have created certain code, if your MySQL 5 is not working, you can try 8 also. Sometimes we forget to choose which version, so by default it is going to select 8. So sometimes your code is going to give you a problem, so you can always check which version you have installed. So in our case, we created that a database, and we noted down this string, which is very important. This one, connect endpoint. This is important. Then we have gone to the EC2 instance. We created one web server, and there we specify certain option. That mean zone should be same. 1A should be the zone should be the same. Then security group again, because on both side that port should be open. So from EC2 instance also we open that MySQL port, and when we were creating the database also there we open that MySQL port. Then we specify the code, install Apache Web Server, MySQL client, PHP, and PHP MySQL. Then we, from this, by using this, we connected, and what we got this interface. In this interface, we try to connect by using uh, this command MySQL minus user nano and whatever the password. And please, uh, this is the string. And then when we got this, we created one table. Then we put some data. Although, what should be ideally? Your PHP code should be written in such a way that you do not have to enter this data manually into this RDS database. There should be one form should be displayed. In that form, when you are going to enter that data, it should be saved in that RDS database. But here, our initial purpose was how to connect, how to show you the connectivity between MySQL client and that server. But still the time was remaining. So what we did, we quit from the database. We created one file, index.php, where we put some data, and we put that host, then username, password, and we written simple code. And then we noted down the IP address of that. And then what we did, when we ran that command, uh, IP address, then what it did, it displayed that data. Now, because creation is okay, now you need to know how to delete. And please, when you're deleting, you need to keep a certain thing in mind. Otherwise, a certain storage cost will be involved. So in our case, now what we are going to do, I will go to the action. I will say delete. Now, what it is saying, create final snapshot. Please always, whenever you are going to hear this term snapshot is also a form of backup, but very advanced form of backup. So what it is going to do, it is again going to keep one backup of your all the data. Since we are just experimenting, so please unselect this, and then we have to select this, that I acknowledge that I'm going to delete that database. We have to confirm, and then you have to type. So be careful when you are deleting the data. Please unselect this, otherwise some storage space will be used. So here we are going to say delete me. So again, it is going to take 4 to 5 minutes for deletion purpose. Then what we are going to do, we will go to the web server. In web server also, we will go to the this instance. So we are going to terminate. So again, after 3 to 4 minutes, we will come back and say, now in your case, what you are going to do, in your case, let me copy paste this in chat box. But before that, let me explain what assignment you people are going to do. I will make you understand also how you are going to create. So in your case, when you are experimenting, please create one custom VPC. In custom VPC, create one public and one private subnet. Now you people already know how to create this public and private subnet. You can go to that VPC and just click on that auto option and create those public and private subnet. Then what you are going to do? You are going to create your instance in private subnet. That means when you are going to click on that RDS, then select that private subnet. And when it is going to show you public access or private access, there please choose that you can say that private access. Then when you are launching your EC2 instance, please launch that EC2 instance in public subnet and then try to connect. And please remember, it will work as smoothly as we have seen now. Nothing, but this is additional step. That means now we are combining the previous that we have session we have learned with this session. So it will make your fundamental clear, because in AWS, if you are a master of individual concepts, then it is okay. But if you can combine 2, 3, 4, 5 concept, then you are a real master of AWS cloud. So in now in this case, what we are trying to give you one assignment. That means if you have the time, you can create, and if you have got any problem, you can always consult with me. So this is going. So in my case, later I'm just going to cut paste into chat box. So let me go there. So I will go there. So I'm going to put here, and I will be sharing this also so that you do not have to type the things. And let us check whether everything is now our database, this instance got terminated. So it is in terminate state. And what about RDS? So refresh, still in deleting stage. And please, one option which might be very useful. Sometimes we forget where we have launched certain EC2 instances, because EC2 instances in free tier, they are free for 750 hours. That means if you are running one instance for 1 month, almost 720 hours are gone. But if you are running two instances, what will happen? That will exceed. So you can always have EC2 global view. That means you can go to the EC2 global view. Here what it is going to show you, it is going to show you all the resources that we are running. So always you can check. Now in this case what it is showing, instance 1 in one region. That means you should be careful. That means somewhere some instance is running which you haven't deleted. But please remember, even terminated instance, it calculate as instance. So after 2-3 minutes again refresh, and you can check whether volumes are there, NAT gateways are there, elastic IPs are there. So they have given this extremely one powerful utility or menu where you can go and you can check. Otherwise what will happen after 1 month, lot of charges will be there. Free tier does not mean that everything is free for unlimited time. That means these EC2 instances, they are free for 750 hours. So still what it is showing, so I should be concerned why it is showing two in one region, because that RDS service is also behind the scene using that instance, and your the EC2 instance that we launched, that also. So you can always click on this view all. Now it is showing this instance is there. So you can click on this and you can check what is the status. So sometimes this can be very useful. Now what it is saying, terminated. So in my case, when I do the experiments, I sometimes visit this EC2 global view. Like yesterday I was having certain problem, so I was using different reason. So in the end I was checking whether some EC2 instance is running or not, because in my case my account is no longer in free tiers, so I have to incur certain cost. So this is always a very a good menu where you can go and you can check these type of things. Now I will take the questions. If you have got any question from the first session and this session, please go ahead and you can ask me the question.